What if dogs got multiple sclerosis? Welcome, everybody. I'm Cliff, and this is Life with MS. And this is totally bonkers because get this. Dogs actually have a form of MS, and it actually has a lot of the same activators and triggers as our MS. And also, it can be treated in a lot of the same ways. They're using prednisone and other types of steroids to stop the flares. So let's hop into this study. With remarkable similarities to MS, disease in dogs open new avenues for study. And right here it says researchers at the School of Veterinary Medicine, led by Jorge Alvarez and Molly Church, found that a canine disease, and I'm going to call it GME because I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Okay, maybe I'll try. Granulomatous meningoencephalitis shares many of the same pathological and immunological features as multiple sclerosis. Okay, but how does it work? Well, let's see. The canine disease GME, the most common neuroinflammatory disease that affects dogs, shares key features of its pathology and immunology with multiple sclerosis, according to the new study. A detailed investigation of GME by the team at Penn State Veterinary Medicine, incorporating MRI images and studies of brain tissue, found that defining characteristics of MS, notably accumulation of B cells in the tissues that line the nervous system, were also present in dogs with GME. And of course, B cells are the type of white blood cell involved in the immune response. In healthy people, such immune cells are present in very low numbers in the membranes that line the spine and brain, known as meninges. Okay, so it's a B cell thing, just like it is in us, which is very interesting. Now, how would you know if a dog is having physical symptoms? Is there an EDSS for dogs? I don't know. Okay, so it's similar, but how is this different than mice? Well, they covered that too. Check this out. Dr. Alvarez said that's a novel aspect of the disease in dogs that is mirroring the pathology in humans and something that people are not able to replicate in mouse models of MS. He says, we feel that by studying dogs with GME, we can expand the knowledge of human disease and contribute to the pressing need to understand the disease in dogs as well. Now, think about this in the grand scheme of things. What if our DMTs worked on our dogs, and so that your dog can go with you to your infusion therapy, and they can get an infusion, and you can get an infusion. It can be like one big happy family event. Maybe that's what's been missing this whole time. Maybe that's why I switched to Kesimpta for multiple sclerosis instead of Ocrevus, because my dog wasn't there. But there's a big problem with this, one of many. I don't think you could keep a border collie still long enough to get an infusion. And also, I'm guessing with the energy level of a border collie, they must not get this because clearly fatigue is not something that affects them. Okay, so then Dr. Alvarez says here, we looked at these accumulation of B cells in the dog's meninges and saw striking similarities to MS. Those specific accumulations in meninges overlying the cerebrum have never been looked at in dogs with GME. Describing this new component of GME that hadn't yet been considered could lead the way to better diagnostics as well as better therapeutics to augment what is already in use. They're digging up all kinds of stuff. Now, this specific article is from 2021. Now it is 2025. It's 4 years later. I want to follow up on this and see where they're at. So that's going to be a future episode. I'm actually going to reach out to Dr. Church and Dr. Alvarez and see what's going on with this because I have a feeling that the last 4 years probably have brought brand new insights into this. So watch future episodes because I'm going to see if I can talk to them about this. What if they've got brand new discoveries? What if it's not just dogs? What if it's cats? What if it's birds? Who knows, right? So how long has this GME thing been around? Well, it actually mentions something about that here. Let's take a look. GME is a disease that has only been characterized in the past few decades and is generally diagnosed by exclusion of other diseases. Now that sounds exactly like MS as well. I'm sure there are some people watching this video that got a quick diagnosis with multiple sclerosis, but I know a lot of people, including myself, that had a process of elimination before we could talk somebody into giving us an MRI. So now while I think it's still a little unofficial, it looks like they have some diagnostic criteria potentially to help get a better diagnosis more accurately and quicker with GME. And you'll also find this interesting. Both MS and GME are more common in females and tend to affect young and middle-aged patients. Now, what would be really interesting is to see if it is breed specific in dogs. In the 13 dogs diagnosed with GME, as well as 4 unaffected dogs, Church, remember she is Dr. Church, a pathologist, examined areas of the brain typically not looked at during GME diagnosis. MRI images analyzed showed increased contrast in the meninges. When assessing the corresponding tissue from the dogs, they found the accumulations of inflammatory cells and of B cells specifically in those areas. Alvarez's lab, which focuses on the link between central nervous system inflammation and MS, evaluated the components of these inflamed regions of the meninges and found an accumulation of B cells. He says, quote, in humans, it has been shown that those collections of B cells correlate with underlying pathology in the brain. And we observed the same feature in GME. And that's why we believe this model holds great potential. So what's really cool about this is the fact that the humans and dogs often share the same environment, and the biology of the dog is closer to that of the human than the mouse. So moving forward, and at the end of this article, they talk about how they are going to really focus on figuring out more about this. Their goal is to help not only humans, but the dogs as well. So the answer is yes, there is definitely something else out there like MS that's affecting dogs. And that's all I have today, because I just thought this was a really cool article. If you found this interesting, click that like, that share, and that subscribe. And as always, comment below. I love to hear from all of you. You have great feedback. And like I said, I'm going to see if I can get more information on this study. I'm Cliff. This is Life with MS. And for now, I'm out.